In overnight news, 3 people shot in Albuquerque.
One of them is dead, and the hunt is now on to find who pulled the trigger. Take a look. This is a live picture of what's going on out on Haynes Avenue. It's near Indian School in Pennsylvania. About 11 o'clock last night, right across from Windrock Mall is where the shots rang out. Again, police tell us one person was killed, another was shot in the arm, and a third was shot in the neck. As you can see, you probably want to avoid this area. There's still at least 5 or 6 police cars out there. And we're being told that investigators may still be looking for a gold 4-door sedan that may be involved in this shooting. Again, avoid this area. It's across from the Windrock Mall. It's on Haynes Avenue near Pennsylvania and Indian School. We'll have updates on this later today here on News 13 and at our website at KRQE.com. Well, meanwhile, Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies are trying to find out more about a person found dead east of Albuquerque yesterday. Investigators say a hiker found a body face down in a creek in Carnuel about 3:30 yesterday afternoon. Deputies are treating this case as a suspicious death because of where that body was found.
He was one of 2 guys involved in a recent shootout with police. Yesterday, he appeared before a judge. 24-year-old Glenn Garcia is accused of firing multiple shots at Albuquerque police officers Saturday afternoon. Now, this happened during a wild chase in northeast Albuquerque. It ended with Garcia and another suspect crashing at Eubank and I-40. Garcia was taken to the hospital. He and 32-year-old Felix Romero were driving the SUV. Both are facing a long list of charges, including 7 counts of attempted homicide of a police officer. Both men are still in custody. Cops in Hobbs are also investigating a shooting. Yesterday afternoon, Lee County Sheriff deputies responded to a call reporting that someone was shot in the head on Martin West. When they arrived, deputies found 19-year-old Michael Burns dead inside the home. The investigation is ongoing.
It is sure to be another intense day in the civil trial of a detective who shot and killed an Iraq War veteran in Albuquerque 3 years ago. Brett Lampiris Tremba testified yesterday. He shot and killed Kenneth Ellis after Ellis took a step toward another officer. Well, today, that other officer is supposed to take the stand. The shooting happened back in 2010 at a 7-Eleven in the Heights. Ellis was an Iraq War veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder. And the day of the shooting, he was on the phone with his mom and had a gun pointed at his own head. A judge has already ruled the shooting violated Ellis's constitutional rights. Now a jury will decide how much money the police department and city should pay to compensate Ellis's family. And yesterday, an expert testified that the monetary value of Mr. Ellis's life is about $5.8 million. We'll be in court today, and we'll have updates for you on this afternoon. Well, the calls and emails keep pouring into Doña Ana County, and they're all about an inmate who was basically left in solitary confinement for 2 years. Las Cruces Sun News says the county sheriff has gotten dozens of phone calls in the last week about this man, Stephen Slevin. He was picked up, accused of driving drunk back in 2005, then thrown in solitary confinement and left there again for almost 2 whole years. At one point, Slevin was even forced to pull his own tooth. Last week, Doña Ana County settled with Slevin. This is a picture of him right after he got out, and was agreed to pay $15.5 million to Slevin. That's when the calls started coming in. A lot of them blaming the sheriff, even threatening to kill him. But the sheriff says what happened to Slevin is not his fault because the jail director reports to the county, not the sheriff.
A grand jury hands down an indictment against an Albuquerque man accused of raping and torturing a woman. And now it appears there are more victims. Victor Gonzales faces 41 counts. According to a criminal complaint back in July of 2012, Gonzales forcibly held a woman for 2 days in his apartment, raping and torturing her with electric shocks. Her hands and feet were bound. The complaint states duct tape was over her mouth to keep her quiet. The woman, who was homeless at the time, says she met Gonzales off of Central after her car was impounded. The victim claims Gonzales offered her a place to stay. Now, police say there are 5 other victims. 3 have testified against Gonzales. The man who admitted to storming into a home in Albuquerque and kidnapping a 2-year-old is sentenced to 2.5 years. Fernando Saavedra was given credit for the 1.5 years he's already served. During his remaining year, he'll be on an ankle monitor, followed by 2 years of supervised probation. Saavedra took a plea deal earlier this year, admitting that he and a woman broke into the home and took her 2-year-old son at gunpoint. Now, she turned herself in. The boy was okay. Prosecutors say they cut a deal with Saavedra because a key witness in the case was not cooperating.
Well, the man who is facing more than 300 years in prison, 300 years on child pornography charges, is still in jail in Albuquerque this morning. The Attorney General indicted Alberto Vsenseo yesterday on 42 counts of child sexual exploitation. Bernalillo County Sheriff's detectives arrested him last month after getting a tip that Vsenseo was making and passing around a lot of child porn. We now know just how drunk sheriff's deputies say a wrong-way driver was before she crashed into not just one, but two cars on I-25 last week.
The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department tells News 13 that Lila Perez's blood alcohol was 0.20. That is more than twice the presumed level of intoxication. Perez admitted to drinking 2 drinks after she was caught driving south in the northbound lanes of I-25 near Santa Fe last week. She crashed into 2 cars. One was carrying a pregnant woman who was forced to have an emergency C-section. That infant is still in intensive care. Perez, who's charged with great bodily harm by vehicle, would not tell deputies where she had been drinking.
2 people banged up when they landed at the Sunport yesterday, and now investigators want to know exactly what happened. Officials at the Sunport tell us one person hit his head and another got hit in the stomach with a laptop when an American Airlines flight from Dallas landed about 2 yesterday afternoon. Investigators don't know what caused the plane, it's an MD-80, to land so hard. Glad everyone was, for the most part, okay. You know, the